Hi there, welcome. Please try to remember to put your full name, email, and your office in the chat for me. I have to keep a record of how many people attended from which offices for my boss, okay? So it is about 5 minutes of, so we'll be waiting a few more minutes. There were quite a few people gonna be here, so I'm hopeful that they all show up. Welcome, everybody. I have to ask that you please go to the chat button at the bottom of your screen and put in your full name, your email, and what office you're with. I have to keep attendance for my records, so I appreciate it. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We're gonna wait another minute or two. Not everybody has put their name and email and office in the chat for me. I do need you to do that because it's very hard for me to teach the class and write down names of, people coming in. So if you could all just hit the chat, full name, email, and office, I would appreciate it. Okay, I'm just going to give everybody another minute and then we're going to get started. I like to start on time because I have so much to teach you. All right. If you don't have a paper and pencil or pen, I suggest that you gather one up now. There are no slides for this. This is live teaching, and I do record it, and I put my video up on my YouTube site. So I will be sending everybody who puts their name and email in the chat button the link to my YouTube site. That way you can go over and over and over the different things that we're going to do tonight. If you want to be hands-on and you are not great at flipping back and forth on your screens on your computer, feel free to log in from your phone. All I'm going to ask you to do is make sure that your phone is also muted so that we're not getting any feedback. Paula, if you have a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? I didn't have sound. Now I do.
Oh, hang on a second. Sorry.
Thank you.
Forgot to turn my volume up. Hang on.
No, I had trouble. I just got a lift home from Uber and my car's gonna cost $1,000 and I'm so nervous and the computer didn't want to work. So I'm really sitting here shaking. I'm so upset. Till tomorrow they're gonna. So.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you had so much trouble.
I know. But look, this is the first time I'm ever chatting. So I'm gonna unmute me now, right?
Yeah, you're gonna mute yourself now and
Okay.
then
But
during
I've
yeah.
sound now.
Yep, just go down into the chat for me and make sure you put in your full name, your email, and the office that you're with.
Okay, thank you so much for your.
No problem, Paula.
Thank
I
you.
hope things get better.
Thank you.
All right, so we're 5 minutes after, so I'm gonna get started. Obviously, though, most of you have read about me on my screen here. I have been with myWeichert a long time. I have been with the myWeichert system since the very beginning. So yes, I know a lot, but it does change. So you may ask me something that I'm not sure about. I will definitely find you an answer and get back to you. All right, I'm going to ask that everybody stay muted unless you have a question. Once I start sharing my screen, it's very hard for me to see the chat. So if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and, you know, just ask your question, just yell, Patty, I have a question, and I'll stop. I try not to go too fast. If you feel like I am and you need a little more time to, you know, write your notes or try the things that I'm going to show you, feel free just to give me a shout out and I will slow down. I am losing my voice a little bit because this is all that I do is teach online. So I am always talking. So bear with me if you hear me coughing a little bit. It's just really me losing my voice. All right. All right. So let me clear off this whiteboard. And I'm just going to show you quickly what the general agenda is for the 2 days. Okay, we're going to go over the myWeichert basics. So I'm going to introduce you to the platform itself, show you, you know, the different things that are in it. All right, we're going to work on tonight setting up your signature. I'm going to show you how to do that. That's why I said if you want to be hands-on while I'm training, feel free to log in on a, you know, your cell phone and work simultaneously. All right, we'll be adding contacts to your database. We'll be scheduling an email. Yes, I see a question. I am going to start recording once I get through this and I actually start the training. All right, we're going to be updating the listing presentation so that if you're new to being an agent, you'll have yourself ready for when somebody calls and says, hey, I really was thinking about selling my house, stop by Saturday. We're going to get you all ready for that. And then we're going to go over EVP, which is an abbreviation for emails, valuations, and property views. And we're going to focus on your dashboard and how to let the dashboard help you manage your time and what you need to do. Okay. So again, any questions you shout out. I have a hard time looking at myself while I'm training. So I am going to turn my video off. All right. So you're only going to see my name and I apologize for that, but I get distracted very easily sometimes. So I don't want to have that happen. Okay. So I am going to set it to record. So you should hear. Hang on. Oh, we had it going already. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And again, thank you everybody for joining tonight. I appreciate it. I love training, but I have to have people to train. So first things first, to get into myWeichert, you should be using Chrome. Chrome works better with the myWeichert system. It does not work on Safari at all. So really, and Edge, it does work kind of okay with. So if you don't have Chrome on your computer, you will have to download it so that the system will work properly for you. You log in, it's my.weichert.com. Okay, and let me show you. That'll take you to the screen where you log in. Okay, I am always in, so it just keeps bringing me right back to where I was. But your login is, your username is usually your first initial last name, no spaces. And then your password you should have set up from the email that corporate sent you. All right, now I did ask that everybody at least try to take the Agent Quick Start. If you did, great. Some of the things I'm going to talk about, you will have seen in the Quick Start. If you didn't, It's okay that you didn't right now, but you really do need to go in here, and it's just videos and training that the corporate marketing people put together, and the Weichert University runs it. So it approaches it from a realtor point of view, where I'm basically going to give you from a marketing point of view. So they give you a few more tips and hints than about how your dialogue should go, or how you should be answering questions and stuff, which I don't do. Okay, my end of it is to teach you how to reach out to the people, you know, how to look for who you're going to respond to, and how to automate your system so that while you're at work during the day, the system is like the old secretary. She's working behind you and doing all the things that you told her to do ahead of time. Okay. I will pause during this. We'll take a short break for getting a quick drink or using the restroom if you need to. I will pause and ask if you have any questions. And like I said before, if you do have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and just, you know, shout out, hey, Patty, I have a question. All right, because it is a little difficult for me to keep an eye on the chat while I'm training. All right. Okay, so we go to my.weichert.com and we always land on our dashboard. And this is our dashboard. From our dashboard, we can see activity that is going on. Okay, people who have visited the website, people who have come in and registered and they are a new lead. Okay, so from the dashboard, we get to see a lot of different things. All right, right now it's set in all activity, but you can see that you can look at just new emails that might have come in. Okay, and I don't have a lot of stuff. So usually when I'm teaching, I can show you where it is, but I can't always show you what it is. All right. You can go in and find new text, and I think, and I also have access to offices. So parts of my screen will look a little bit different than what you'll see. Let's go in here and see if we can. And the system is not usually slow. It's slow, one, because I live out in the middle of nowhere and my internet is slow, but two, because we're doing this live, it does slow it down a little bit. All right, so you can see here, I went into a different office, so you can see that there are some things. These are my test people, basically. All right. Also from here, also from here, you can go in and you can look at property searches that people have done. That's property views. You see comes up. Your little box is over here. Okay, so from that, you can see the different things people have gone on and looked at my website and looked at a listing. Okay, so every day I want to be checking this because it tells me how long ago it was. I don't want this 4-day person to be out here and I never contacted them. Okay, so this is why every day when you log into your dashboard, you should be looking at what's going on. That way you can make quick responses and you can stay in contact with people. All right, that's just a quick overview of the dashboard. All right, over in the middle here, which is also right here, are playbooks. This is when you have a new listing. Okay, you can go into a playbook and you can promote your listing very quickly and very easily. All right, so this is a new listing I just worked on with an agent this morning. Okay, so you can go in. Your listings will show up here. If you don't have any, you can go into the company listings or your office, specific office listings, and they will populate on the left. Okay, and then if there's one that you want to promote, you can just hit start promoting. It'll move to the right when you go back to the screen. So from here, very quick and simply, you can notify everybody in your office. You would just put your office name in here, and you're only going to see your office. This is because I have so many. All right. And then you're just going to shoot them this email, which is going to tell them about the listing. Okay. It's going to give them all the information. All right. It's going to give them a button where they can go and look on the website. Okay. At the listing itself. It also gives them this really great button here, which helps them find buyers. Okay, so when they get the email, they can click on this and it will search their database and find buyers whose criteria match your listing, and they can quickly email it out. So the system really has been designed, you know, to be quick and easy for everybody. All right, so that's one thing. You can go in here and you can match your current buyers, okay, whose criteria, like I said, meets what it was. So they'd be looking for, you know, the same 2 bedrooms or more in the same price range in the same town. And then you can pull in your list here, and you can email out to them a copy of the listing. Okay, you can send it by text and you can send it by email. See, and the email looks similar to the one that the office got. So it gives them some information, the button to go view it on your website, okay? So that once they're on your website looking, you'll be able to see that information on your dashboard. Okay, so quick and easy things that you can do. You can also do very fast things onto social media. It actually creates everything for you. All you have to do is go ahead and do the posting. Okay, and the posting of squeeze pages and landing pages is really pretty simple. Okay, if your Facebook is hooked up to the system, you can post. Come on. There we go. Every time I train, I'm a nervous wreck that things won't open right. So this is my personal one, but that's not where I post. I need to post to my business one. So I can go down here to share on a page, and it's going to bring up my business page. So that's where I'm going to share it. And then up here is a headline, and I'm just going to write something quick about the listing itself. Obviously, it's always in your own language, but basically we're just going to say new listing, don't miss out. You always give them an action. So you say, click below for more information. And then you can always put text or call me and your cell number. Okay, quick, simple, and easy. You hit post to Facebook and it'll go into your news feed. And then from there, you can share it to groups that you belong to. You know, you can share it to your personal page if you would like to. And again, tonight is just kind of showing you things that the system does. Your MTS can help you, train you and work with you on the details of everything. All right. So let me, sorry, my bars get in the way. There we go. All right. So let me get out of that and get back into the platform. Yes, I want to leave the site. Thank you. Okay, so Playbook's nice, simple, easy way to promote a listing. Now, if you're doing an open house for somebody on the weekend and it's not your listing, you can do those social media posting. In your headline, you're just going to put about your open house. Okay, so you can use it for other things besides your own listing. All right, so over on the left here is myWeichert. These 3 little lines here, they collapse and widen the sidebar. So when you're working in the middle here, you should collapse it so that you see more on your screen. Okay, and then open it up to get where you're going, because as long as I've been doing this, I still get a couple of the icons confused. All right, so this tells you where you're going to go. Now, your smart CRM is where all of your database contacts are. Okay, and we're going to go into detail on that in a few minutes. listings in here. You can go in, you can look at your own listing. You can look at the company listings. And what it will do is it'll pull up all of the WeichErt listings that are in your particular MLS. And if you belong to more than one, it will show you, you know, in each MLS, the listing. So it gives you what's going on in your area. You know, and again, mine, because I do New Jersey and Pennsylvania, I have quite a few things going on in here. But you can go in if you're looking for a buyer, you know, you can come in here, you can use the filters, you can filter it down to the area, you can put in the there we go. Okay, you can put in the price range, their price point. You can put in the bedrooms, the baths, and then you just scroll down and it'll sort it all for you when you apply the filters. All right, so this is a great way to be looking for homes for your buyers. You don't always have to jump in and out of the MLS. All the MLS listings are in here. So rather than looking at just the office, you can actually look at all of the listings in the MLS. So it'll bring up everybody that, you know, is in your MLSs. So you'll be able to do an extensive search for your buyer. Okay, so you can see here, some of these were not in before. They are not WeichErt people, but you can look at all the information. And another good thing is that when you send information to your clients, it is all branded to you. Okay, so your information is what they see. They never see the listing person here. It is not predominant. It's a tiny little line in the description, and all it really says is who the listing agent was. All right, and I have to be honest with you, in all the years I've been doing this, most people never even see it because they're scrolling through, they're reading, they're not paying attention to every little thing, so they don't see in there that it was somebody else's listing. They just see that you sent it to them. So that's a great thing too, because you can find something in here and quickly send it out. All right. Our marketing is, we're going to go over later, is all of the things that you can do to market a listing, to brand yourself, to get your name and out there, so that when people see a WeichErt sign, they think about you. Okay, because they've gotten so much from you that they associate your name with WeichErt. All right, and then lead engine is where we go. We can build our own landing pages, our own squeeze pages, and we do our uploading of our farm area. So lead engine is where we go to kind of build where the leads are going to come from. Okay, we want them to come from our website. We want them to come from our emails that we send out, or our text messages. Okay, and then, well, transactions is in the future. That's where you'll be able to take a new listing. You'll do all your paperwork. It'll go through Skyscape, and then all of the paperwork will be attached in here. All right, Web and IDX is all about your website, and that's a little bit more advanced class that you should arrange to meet with your MTF, and they'll be able to help you with that. Marketplace is everything that KV Core offers you. They have trainings in here. They also have ways that you can boost properties. Okay, but their marketplace is a lot of the stuff is not free. WeichErt is really giving you a lot of things that if you were an agent in an outside company, you would actually have to go to the marketplace and pay for. And then business analytics is basically going to tell you how you're doing with your business. Okay, so it shows you your beginning leads. It shows you what's active, how many clients you have. Okay, so it's a place where you can come in and take a look at how your business is going. You can also see where your business is coming from. Okay, and then so again, I don't have any business, so you're not going to see a lot on these screens. But you can see, you know, whether they're coming from your website, or it's somebody that you added and they're responding. Okay, so it's just terrific analytics for keeping an eye on how your business is going. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. Any questions? Okay, all right, we're going to keep going. So now we've kind of gone over, you know, the basics of the myWeichert. There is so much stuff in here, and like I said in my original screen, we're always adding new things, so there's always more things for me to learn. Okay, so there's always going to be stuff going on. So go in, do your training on the quick start, meet with your MTS, you know, and keep asking questions, because if there's something you want to do and you don't know how, chances are we'll be able to show you how to do it in the system. All right. All right. So now we're going to go and we're going to do a little work. So over on the right, you'll see your name, and there's a little pull down menu here. Okay. This phone number here is the phone number that keeps the system operating with you and your office. Okay. You'll see this phone number occasionally in places. It's really just keeps the system operating properly, and each office has its own phone number. So you can, if you want to, you can always include this phone number as your other business line, so that if people ever see it, they recognize it as you. Okay. Underneath that is the email that I'm going to use with the system. Okay. And under that is my website. So now everybody has a website. As soon as you joined, you got one. Okay. Mine will look a little bit different than yours, but you have a website that allows people to come in and search. And again, this is where we drive everybody to. All of our social media and stuff is all about your website.
I have a question, Patty.
Yep, go ahead, Tony.
Are you allowed to change the email that is on the site?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so if you didn't know, you all have your own website now. Okay. From here, my profile, we're going to do a couple of things. And one of them is, if you'd like to change your email, you'll be able to do that in here. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze that over so we get a little bit bigger screen. Okay, so before we go into the edit button, I want to show you the things that you should be looking at. All right, so your picture should be in here. If it is not, that's one of the first things that you want to make sure that you do. It's going to have your name that's on your license. Okay, you can't just put your, like I'm Patty Sloan. Everybody knows me as Patty Sloan, but officially I'm Patricia. So that's what has to go in here, and then your title. Okay, over here, your MLS IDs should have automatically filled in. If not, we'll be adding those. All right, and then there's, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to go over. All right, and then there's stuff that connects us to our website, and then this is our signature, which we're going to create so that every one of your emails goes out with the same signature at the bottom of it. All right, so we start and edit your profile. All right, so if you have a picture, you can click and upload it. And I can, so I'm going to go into my pictures. Hopefully I'm in here. Not there, of course not. There I am. Okay. And I'm going to upload my picture. Okay. And then if I want to move it around because I don't like where it's centered, I could do that in the edit button. Okay. But it's okay. It's me. So I'm good with that. All right, so now I'm gonna make sure this is my official name in here. That's on my my real estate license. Under that goes my title, which you can put sales associate. Okay, that's a safe one that works in all the states. If you want to say also sales representative, you can do that also. Okay, on the right, if you have not yet joined the MLS, this will have probably your office MLS ID in there. If not, definitely contact your processor to get that, but you should already be a member of the MLS and have your own ID. This is your NERDS number, which is your National Realtor ID number. If you don't have it, it's all right if you don't add it. But it would be a good thing to put in there. All right, as we go down now on the left side, we're going to stay on the left now. This should be your cell number. If it is not, change it to your cell. This needs to be the office number. Okay, so whichever office you're in, that's the phone number that's on here. And we want to make sure these buttons are on because we're going to show it on our website. Okay, that's what this is. Show on site is about showing it on your website. If you have a secondary number, you can put it in here as a direct line and then also go ahead and show it on this website. Okay, so now is the email part. This email should match the one up in the right-hand corner. If this is not what you want to use, you can change it here. And it'll bring up a box that says, if you change this email, it changes the whole thing in the system. And if that's what you want to do, it's fine. You just say, okay. Now, if this is a Gmail account, okay. So this is my Gmail account that I use sometimes for the company. Okay, so that would be now connected to my email over here. So that's the one that's going to help me run the system. But under here, though, I always want it to be my myWeichert one. I want them to always know myWeichert because, again, I'm trying to brand myself. I'm trying to brand myself to myWeichert. I want to make sure that my email does the same thing.
I have a question, Patty.
Yes, go ahead.
In regards to email, is it true that cannot be Yahoo email and only I guess I have a Yahoo account that I would like to put it, but I think I'm not able to use Yahoo. It's not compatible.
Yeah, you might not. That would be one that might not be compatible with the system.
So it has to be Gmail.
Gmail is the best. myWeichert Realtors is also myWeichert.com. You can also use.
Okay.
But I know that there are issues with like AOL. You know that some of the emails, and that's an AOL issue. It's not a myWeichert server issue. It's just something in AOL that sometimes it just doesn't work right with the system. Gmail, I haven't heard of anybody having any major problems with. Hotmail has worked okay. But really you should be using your myWeichert.com one or a Gmail one. And again, if you want to use Gmail, I mean, which is great. And if you're an established agent from another company and you have a Gmail that you've always used, but if not, try to put myWeichert into the name. So you could, like I just did before, I did P. Sloan for myWeichert. So again, I'm reminding people all the time, the company that I work for.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. One at a time. Go ahead.
So which is it the second email that you're saying you could put something else in? The one that says from email?
You can do either. These can be exactly the same or they can be different emails. If you want everybody always to be responding to your Gmail, then you're going to put your Gmail in the second one. But some people use the Gmail because it helps run the system better, but they want everybody to know they're with Weichert. So when the emails go out, they go out from Weichert.
Okay, so was that in the top one?
Second one,
The second one,
that's
Okay,
the from. Okay, and you see here, it tells you Yahoo and AOL does not work well. So please
Right.
don't use it.
okay, so
Okay.
then what's the first one? Which one is the one going on your website?
The one going on your website is going to be the first one.
Okay. So it's almost like if you want it published, like in your, the salutation of your email, then the one that says from email, you're gonna have to make that. the
I'm
right
sorry,
one also.
you're fading out.
It's almost like you need to put a Weichert email in both. That's what I'm confused.
I'm sorry. Rewind.
Okay,
The second one is the one that shows up on your website. The first one is the one that helps you operate the system. So
Okay.
I did that backwards. I apologize. Okay,
Okay.
so up here, you could put your Gmail account, and down here, put your Weichert. Okay, the system runs beautiful with your Gmail account, and it just feeds everything to your Weichert. We can set it up so that you're only looking at one email.
Patty, I have another question. So where to retrieve any emails to KB Core, to my Weichert? Or how we get emails?
Okay, you get emails by what you tell people where you want to respond to, and that comes into your signature. Okay, so if you're saying all my emails are from Weichert.com, then they're going to go back to Weichert.com. So you would log into your Weichert one to see your emails, but your MTS can help you connect your email together. So if you have a Gmail and a Weichert, you can connect them together and just go to one spot or the other and see all your email at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so down here, I see how I changed this from being my official name at the top of Patricia to Patty Sloan, because this is how people know me. So I am not licensed. So you're licensed, you would probably put with your Patty in the middle and your last name. And then you're covered and you won't have any problem with any of the boards. Because everything that we do goes back to what the Board of Realtors regulations are. And they are very strict in how you advertise yourself. So this tagline for from will take care of any issue that the board might have. And I know I have lots of agents who don't use their first name at all. So I have a one agent, she calls herself Barbara, but her first name is Abigail. Barbara was her middle name. So she always makes sure that she puts Barbara in the parentheses, so it's always out there and they don't call her Abigail. All right, now the website should be already in there because that's the website that Weichert gave you. All right, but if you have your own personal website outside of what Weichert's giving you, you can also put that in here. Next down, this is your mortgage lender. Okay, so this is your mortgage advisor in the office, and you pull down the list and you can just find the one that belongs to your office. Most of the time you will only see one or two names. All right, so you would just connect them. Malvina's in my Marlboro office. All right, and then we want to make sure that we're showing them on the website. There is a tab about mortgages and financing. So we want to make sure that they're getting the right person to contact on the website. So we add that to it. Next section down is designations that you have on your license. So if you have any of the extra designations, and I'm sorry, none of them are popping in my head at the moment, that you went to an extra class for, and now you're allowed to use that on your business cards and stuff, you would add those here. Okay, and your license, if you're licensed in more than one state, you would want to indicate that in here. Now, up on the right side, we're not going to talk about the social media tonight because it's a little intense, and your MTSs can help you get all of that hooked up very quickly and easily. I'm going to remind you that if your license number is not showing in here, please make sure you put it in there. And again, that's your real estate license number. All right, and then your position should come up in the list. Oh, see, ABR, those are designations. That was what I was trying to find before, but if you're an associate, or if you're an associate assistant sales manager, broker, okay, so your title should be in here. And then if you speak any other languages, please put it in, because you'll want to make sure that people know that as they're looking at stuff on your website. And then also corporate keeps a list of people who fluently speak another language, so that agents who have issues, they can find help. Okay, down in the next section, about me. This is going to show up on the front page of your website. I instruct all of my agents to write 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph should be about why someone should work with you professionally. So you talk about communication skills, anything in your past that would relate to real estate or customer service. All right, and you would just write a paragraph. We shy away from the resume type looking information, because people really don't read it. So you write yourself a real nice little paragraph, kind of just saying, you know, what you do and why they should work with you professionally. Don't write it in the third person, write it in first person. Okay. And then your second paragraph is anything that you would like to share about your personal life. So you can talk about your family. You can talk about maybe you've lived in the same town all of your life, or for the last 20 years, or, you know, stuff like that. You talk about any clubs you belong to, any interests that you have. If you're an avid skier, or you love to go surfing. You know, I mountain climb, you know, whatever you do. And the reason why we do this is because it gives the person a chance to connect with you before they even meet with you. So you put in here, I have 3 dogs, and I'm a dog lover, and I'm reading, you know, I went to your website and I'm reading about you, and I see 3 dogs. Well, we already made a connection, because I'm a dog lover and you have 3 dogs. I'm going to remember that. Okay, so even things you think are crazy, you know, crocheting, if you crochet, if you belong to a church group, if you sing in the choir, you know, anything that gives that other person a chance to connect with you before they even meet you. The other thing is people speed read nowadays. So when they see something they connect with, the brain slows down for a minute. And now it's paying more attention to what you wrote. All right, so it's just 2 paragraphs, as long and short as you would like. Okay, keep them in the first person. And this is actually something that I would like you to work on before tomorrow, so that we can kind of talk about it a little bit, and hopefully you'll be able to enter it in and we can look at it on your website. Now we're going to talk about the signature. Now this
Annie,
yes,
Patty, quick question. This is Felice. I know that you was talking about the lender. I wanted to add the lender. Do you add it to the social media? I didn't hear you when you mentioned it.
Okay, when you add it in here, it goes on your website.
Okay.
Okay, so when you send people to your website to search for the next home that they want to buy, they'll see the tab that says finance, or you might have redesigned it to say, you know, mortgage information. And when they click on that, they'll get to see information about your lender.
Okay,
And then when they fill out for it to ask questions, it'll go directly to the lender so that they can answer the questions for them.
okay,
Okay?
all right, I got
All
it.
right. Now,
Thank
next
you.
thing, no, you're welcome, is your signature. Okay? In your signature, there has to be things that are required by the Board of Realtors. Okay? Again, Weichert protects you legally by helping you do the things correctly. All right, and that way you don't get any fines, and you're not yelling at us that we never, you know, how come I'm getting fined for this? The Board of Realtors has very specific rules about everything. Your name has to be your licensed name, okay? And again, you can put your nickname in here in quotes, or like I did, single quotes. Under that needs to be your official title. All right, now I did this because you really can't do this, okay? I wanted to kind of have it stand out so you would see. You really need to have your cell number the same size as the office number, okay? So there's two ways to do it. We could take this and shrink it down, or we could take this and build it up. So we can put this in here and just change our points. So now it's the same size, and I can italicize it so it's angled. All right, and actually it looks, yeah, it is a hair smaller. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I went up that high. Okay, so these have to be the same. Okay, and you're gonna see people who don't follow the rules, and you're gonna see cell numbers without office numbers, you know, or cell numbers that are huge and the office number is small. Okay, the board for the last 2 years hasn't been really paying attention, and we've lived in a weird world for the last 2 years, but they're coming back now, and they're starting to look at everything that we do. So we want to make sure that we're in compliance with their rules. All right, so the two numbers should be the same size. All right, the email, you put in your email address, and I spelled my name wrong. Okay, so that's reminding them where I want them to respond to. And it actually becomes a link that they can just click on, and it'll open their email, and they can just email you from there. Okay, this piece here is about my website. So let me go open my website up. Okay, this is the main page of my website. I want people to visit my website. Every time I send an email, I want them to click that button and go to my website and start searching around, because after they search 1 or 2 times, those pop-ups come up. You know how when you go shopping on the web, the pop-up comes up like immediately, okay, before you even looked at anything on the site? Well, ours doesn't do that unless you tell it to. What ours does is it allows them to come in and take a look around, get comfortable, and then the pop-up starts. Okay, so we're gonna take our email address from up here. We're just gonna highlight the whole thing, and then we're gonna right click and copy, or if you're on a Mac, I know there's keys that you hit, and I apologize, I'm not a Mac person. And then I'm gonna come in here, and in this space here where I want it, I'm gonna click on this little link. It looks like a sideways 8. I'm going to paste my URL that I just copied in here. And then in the title, I'm going to put what I'd like it to say. So I can do like, click here to visit my website, or I can just do my website, or I do have Another one people seem to like, which is search for your new home here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna save it. Not sure why that didn't take right, but it's probably because I went too fast and I skipped a step. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna put in here, search for your new home here. So it's in the text to display, and there we go. So now they have a link. I can also put a link to my Facebook if I want them to follow me on Facebook. All right. From Facebook, oh, this is my MTS one. I'm looking, I'm going, that's not mine. It's my MTS one. You're just gonna go into Facebook and be on your business page on the home page part of it and copy the URL and paste it in here. And that'll give them a link right to your Facebook. So these are things that are optional. Okay, your phone number and the office number is required. Your email is not. These links are not, they're optional. But when you get down here now, this is something that has to be on there. You have to put the company that you work for, Weichert Realtors, and then the office that you work in. Okay, so in this case, I was working in Forked River that day, so I put Forked River in. And then down here is the address of the office. And again, these are things that are required by the Board of Realtors. And the good thing is that you're going to type everything in here once and you're never going to have to type it again, because it's going to either automatically feed into emails that the company has pre-built, or you're going to add it with a button to every email that you send out. And that's the button right here. Okay, so it starts out gray, but we say, yes, I want you to include my signature in everything I send. Okay, and then the system will do that. Now we're gonna go up and save real quick because I have a tendency to mess up and lose stuff. So feel free to go back up and save at any point that you'd like as you're working through this. And then you can always reopen it. And what you did is saved, and you can go on to the next thing. So we're gonna come down here at the bottom. Now these 4 boxes, I'm sorry, 6 boxes at the bottom will post to your website. So your website starts with the About Me, and then there'll be little tabs. If you want them, you can put in more information about yourself in here. If you want to talk about your education, if you want to talk about your background, you can add the information in here and it will feed to your website. I'm gonna hopefully be able to show you that. Okay, so here's my website, and my About Me is down here. Okay, now I don't have any tabs in this one. Hang on a second, and I'm going to show you. Okay, this is an agent I work with all the time in Forked River. Okay, this is the website that you saw when you went to connect to your website. The one that I have is a new one that we're working on, which we're going to be sharing shortly with everybody. All right, so down here you see Adele didn't do her About Me. I'll be yelling at her tomorrow. Okay, but this is the website. It's got the listings. If you don't have any, it shows the office ones, and it'll say here, see our listings. All right, so people can search through the listings if they would like. Your About Me would be in here. And then this is a section that we'll go over at another time. It's just about the towns you work in. But you can see Adele has done some customizing to her site, okay? Because she put little things up here for tabs. All right, how much is your home worth? Actually takes the people to where they can put in their address and get a quick estimate of what their home is worth. So our websites do a lot of cool stuff too. All right, so that's everything on the left side except social media, which we're not gonna go into tonight. And I'm
Ca-
sorry, I broke my mouse, so I'm using the keypad and it doesn't always work right. Question?
Excuse me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you open up how to link the website?
Okay, so to link your website, you're gonna wanna open your website first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then from your home page, you're gonna go up here and you're gonna copy this URL,
Yes.
okay? And then you're gonna go back in the platform. You're gonna come down to your signature. And then wherever in your signature you would like to put it, okay, put your cursor in the right spot. Click on this little sideways 8, which is a link.
Oh.
And then in there, you can paste your URL. And then you can change the text here to say, visit my website, whatever you'd like it to say.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And then make sure you hit save, and then you'll see it over here. And then, of course, you can always make this bigger. You're just gonna
Alright.
go up here and change your points.
Great, thank you.
Okay, well, you're welcome. All right, one more thing, and then we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna ask anybody who has not gone into the chat yet and put in their name, email, and office. I need you to do that, okay? I need to keep records, you know. I like to know who I'm teaching. All right, so the last thing is the settings on the right here. You're gonna go into that. In here, these 2 buttons should be on. This is the privacy, okay? People worry about if the company or their manager can see their leads. If these 2 buttons are on, they cannot, okay? And they never can, all right? If you're being coached by your manager and they say, listen, it would be good if I could see what's going on while I'm teaching you, you could come in and turn this off. That's why this one was off. But these 2 on just means that nobody but you will see your leads. The only leads your manager can see are the ones that come from myWeichert.com, Lead Network, or the office website. Okay, because those are technically company leads that we refer out to you. But anybody that you generate, somebody goes to your open house and they log in. We see that people were at your open house, but we don't see who, and we can't see any of the information. All right, so I want everybody to take a deep breath and kind of relax about that now, because the company can't see the stuff as long as these buttons are turned on. All right, the other one down here is about the call creation. Okay, so this is the system that's going to help you make some calls. So you can say to the system, you know what? I want you to auto create some calls. We're going to do it from different statuses I have. Okay, so prospects and new leads and active leads are the best ones usually to use. All right, and then I'm going to say, you know what? I'm a dual career person, so I'm going to try to make 5 calls a day. So when I get home at night, you know, I can call up until, I think legally 9 o'clock, but I don't know that you'd want to, but maybe right after dinner, you can come into the system. It'll give you a couple of people to call who are on your list. It's not people that they pull out of the air. They have to be on your list. And then you just call to stay in contact. And rather than the time be, you know, 8 a.m. to send an email, you can change this and make it in the afternoon if you'd like. All right, and then everything you do, you're just gonna hit save. Okay, so we're gonna take a little 2-minute break. I'm gonna get a drink. And then we'll come back. And again, if you have not gone down to the chat and put your information in, I really would appreciate if you do that, okay? As you can see now, there's a lot of you on here. For me to have to write down all your names and try to figure out who iPhone is, it's just easier for me if you go into the chat and put your information in. All right, so 2 minutes and I'll be right back. I just want to grab myself something to drink. Okay. From this point forward, if you hear little voices in the background, I apologize. My grandchildren are with me because my son had to go to first day at school night or whatever they call it nowadays. All right, so continuing on, everybody's ready, I hope. Okay, so we talked about our side here. We're going to go into our smart CRM. This is our database. Okay, so everybody that we have contact with is going to end up in here. Now we're going to add people on our own. Okay, your MTS can help you upload a farm area. So if you live in a neighborhood and you'd like to, you know, farm it and let people in the neighborhood know that you're a realtor, okay, you can upload from Cole Realty into your database information. All right, so we're going to just tonight go over how to manually add people. All right, so we're going to come over here and we go to add contact. And then you're just going to fill in the information. So I'm going to, let me see, I have to think of a child I haven't used yet. I don't think I've put my son in yet. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put in his email address.
I can't see your screen anymore.
Oh, you can? All right, hold on. Let me read. Maybe I lost it there for a second. It happens. Oh, great. Now my mouse is going nuts. Hang on. No, I don't want to. Stop sharing. Okay, let me reshare. Maybe I didn't hit the right spot. Okay, how are we now?
No, we still, I
see
still
it.
see the hour clock, the thinking little thingy.
Patty, I
That
can
it
see
says
it.
Patty Sloan has started screen sharing.
Oh, okay, hang on. I'm not sure what's happening. So let me stop for a second. Okay, so you guys right now can see everybody on the meeting, correct? Okay. Tommy, you're the only live person, so if you nod once in a while for me, I'd appreciate it. Okay.
Do I have
All
my
right.
camera on? Oh my
Your
God.
camera's on, but that's okay. Right now, I
Okay.
appreciate it. And Colleen's over there. She's laughing. Her camera's on now, too.
I had no idea.
Okay, so let me try to share again. I'm not sure what is happening. So let me go in here and try this.
Patty, we've been seeing your screen, so I think it's the other person's computer.
Okay, so
phone.
you guys can see me, but she's having some issues. All right. The only thing I can say is go ahead and shoot out of the meeting and come back in, and hopefully that will trigger you back into the correct screen.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Moving right along. All right. So we're over here in add contact. And again, we're going to put our contact person in. Okay. And cell number. All right. Now, after you put that information in, now, if you don't have a cell, obviously you're going to leave that blank. Same thing for an email, but try to get all the information you can when you are adding your contact, and use, if you want, take a look at a contact on your phone. You won't have an email, but you'll have their cell number and you could add them in. Down here where it says permission to contact, I can't tell you or stress enough how important this is, because these are the instructions that let the system know what it can do with the contact. Okay, we have lots of times that we pull a list and people are on the do not call. So if they're on that, you can't call them. Okay, the national do not call list is there for that reason. All right, so you're not allowed to call them. Okay, I see people are raising their hand, but I can't. I need you just to pop in, unmute yourself and talk to me if you have a question, all right, or a comment. Okay, but anyway, going back to the do not call list, you cannot call people if they're on that list. Okay, that's why they're on the list. So if you bring in somebody from the Cole Realty, say, and they're on the do not call, well, you would leave this as no, I can't call them. I'm not allowed. Okay. Most people, though, we do, yes, it's okay to call. Anybody that you have any kind of past contact with, you are allowed to call, even if they're on the do not call list. Okay. Texting, you're supposed to get permission that it's okay to text. If you send out a text, we always include an unsubscribe in the very first text that we send out to give people the opportunity not to. But this is somebody I know, that I'm entering. So I'm going to say, yeah, it's great. And then, of course, I have an email address. Even if I didn't, when I get one, it still would be okay to email. And there are no rules or regulations about email yet. So we're good with those. Okay, now if you do know the street address, you can put it in. Believe it or not, there will be times that you'll want to know where somebody is living so that you can hopefully contact them about what's going on in their area, just to give them updates and stuff.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Once you add the contact information and you add yes, and then they say stop, do I have to go in and edit their information to say no to
No.
like a phone call? It'll automatically do it?
Yeah, if you put in an unsubscribe for either the text or the email and they click that and they unsubscribe, the system will automatically take care of it for you.
Okay.
If so, they send you an email or a text and it says, take me off your list, stop bothering me, then you have to just turn them off. And it's very easy and simple. I'll show you in a minute.
Okay.
How you can do that very quick and easy. All right. All right. Somebody unmuted themselves. Thank you. The noise in the background drives me crazy.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Without email address, can I add someone? I have phone number and name, but not email address.
That's fine. Yep, you can add somebody if you have the name and the phone number, or all you have is the name and an email. Okay, you can add them in there. You don't have to have everything. It's not required.
It doesn't let me add people until I put email,
Well, if you have a phone number, okay, and this is somebody you can actually send out a text. And I've done this a lot of times with new agents. They just send out a text saying, I'm in real estate now, but I see I don't have your email. Do you mind providing it? Okay. And then they send it back, and then you can add it to their contact sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now the type of person that's in here. All right, so is it a buyer or a seller? Okay, if it's somebody from your phone and you don't know, you can put both. You can say they could be a buyer, but they have a house, so they might want to sell it. Okay, you can also add people like vendors as you get into the business and you have certain contractors maybe that you use all the time to help your clients out. You can keep their numbers handy in here. And then other agents, whether they're other Weichert agents, although no reason to put them in here unless they're in a different office. Obviously, somebody in your office you can just go and talk to, or call them on the phone. But you can put other agents from other deals that you have in here so that you have a record of them. Okay. So as you can see, you can click as many buttons as you need to. Okay, so you can make it, if you have a renter who could be a buyer, you could put them in as both. All right, now the status, there are 8 statuses that help control the system. Sphere is people that you know, okay, the people that are in your cell phone, your family, okay, neighbors. Those are people that are in your sphere. Prospects are people that live in your neighborhood, but you don't know them, but maybe they want to sell their house. Okay. Or it's a farm area that you picked in your town that you're going to cultivate your farm and you're going to focus in that area. They are prospects because you're hoping that you'll be able to do business with them. New leads come in from, your website, your social media. These are people that connect with you, and they're asking you for information about maybe buying, maybe selling. Okay, so they're new leads. Once you start working with a person, okay, so you have a buyer who's looking at houses, okay, and you're actually taking them out, they're now an active lead. Okay, because you're actively working with them. If you've done a two-step and you've done step one for the seller that you're trying to get the listing for, well, now they're an active lead because there's somebody, they're very interested in doing it. You just haven't got them to sign the papers yet. Okay, so the first three, sphere, prospect, and new lead, are beginners. They're not quite into doing business with you. Okay, they don't even know you're in the business maybe because you haven't told them yet. Okay, so they're this beginning of the journey. All right, active lead is the person that's now taken a step along and gone along the journey a little bit, and now they're looking at houses, or they're really seriously talking to you about listing their home. Okay, so they're active. Clients are people who actually signed the paperwork. So now you have a buyer who's come in and, you know, you took them out. Now you want them to sign that buyer's agreement, which you should have got signed before, but I've been doing this a long time. Agents don't always remember to do the things in the order that they should be done. Okay, but they sign an agreement with you that you're going to take them out to look at houses, and, you know, they're going to pay the $199 transaction fee or whatever. And now they're a client. A person who's selling their home and signs a listing agreement with you is now your client. Okay, paperwork is signed. Contracts means that the buyer found a house, put in a bid, it got accepted, and you're out of attorney review. That makes them under contract. Okay, or pending. I know out in Pennsylvania, you guys do pending. So once they're pending or under contract, then they are contract in your system. They've moved along the journey. They're getting towards that close, which is where you want everybody to go, because that's when you get your check. Okay, if the listing got a contract that the seller accepted and it's come out of attorney review, now they've moved along the journey to contract. The next one is, of course, closed. And closed is, you've been to the closing table, your seller got their check, your buyer got their house, and you got your commission. Now they're closed. Okay, so it's kind of important to remember what the closed is. We talk sometimes about sold. Sold really isn't sold until it's closed. All right. The last one that does not show up here that you're going to use is called archive. And that's the one that we just spoke about. That when somebody comes and says, I don't want you bothering me anymore, you're just going to archive them. And they go in this little bucket on the side and they stay there forever until you pull them back out. And I tell my agents all the time, you should open your archive bucket once a year, take a look at it. Things change. People may have changed their attitude. Maybe now they really do need a realtor. It can't hurt to try one more time and reach out after a year, you know, and if they come back again, well, then you know that they're never going to want a realtor. You know, people only want a realtor when they need it. And I tell this in all my classes. It's not like buying groceries. You don't have to go every day or get milk or bread or whatever. Realtors are only needed when you need them. So you have to be out in front of people's faces all the time so that when they get to the point where they need you, they actually have your name and all your information, and that you're the only person they can think of when they think real estate. All right, so we're going to make this one a sphere because this is somebody I know. All right, it already gave it the source, manually add. There are other sources in here, okay, for every possible thing that we do, okay, but this was manually add, so we're just going to put that back in. All right. The lead owner is you. You don't have to worry about that. That's really for like teams, you know, who owns the lead, who's working it, that kind of stuff. Smart campaigns, we're going to talk about a little later. I don't attach them in the beginning right away because I like to do my emailing and kind of touching base personally first before I put them on any kind of campaign. Any notes that I might have about them, I can put in here. Okay, you can put in here, you know, maybe looking for a home, lives in an apartment, you know, any information that you want to remind yourself about this person later, you can put in the notes. All right. You can add the lender up here. Again, it would be the person in your office, the list, and you would just connect. All right. I don't CC them at this point because this may or may not be a buyer. But when the time comes, I already have my lender attached to them. And then we're just going to add the contact. And this is Google trying to help me. Okay, so now this is your contact sheet. On the left-hand side is the information that you just put in. Okay, so it's the phone number, it's the email, it's the address. They're a buyer seller. Okay, I haven't hashtagged them yet, and a hashtag is a personal identifier for you so that you can group people together. Okay, this is a personal sphere person. Okay, they're not really looking to buy yet or anything, so I'm not going to give them a hashtag, except that I might want to send them and put them into a newsletter campaign. So maybe I'm just going to hashtag them newsletter so that later on I can group them together and send everybody to the newsletter campaign at the same time. All right, other information will come in down here. It was generated as a manual ad. A validation has not been run yet. And what that is that the system will go out onto the World Wide Web and it'll look around and it'll confirm that that is the email if they can find it. Okay, they might also find a second email that they'll tell you about. Okay, so they you can run it when you add them manually, but it will run itself when you upload people through the lead generation. Okay, so this validation just says no additional details were found. All right, so everything hopefully is correct. I have seen it where it said, you know, a different email address, or they found them on Facebook or stuff like that. All right, and again, it's all you should be here. In the middle is the journey we were just talking about, how you start in the beginning here and you move them along the journey line here, hoping to get them to close. And you can easily see, move them along the journey on their sheet by just pressing where they are at and saying, yes, that's where I want to move them to. This is really important because you want to make sure that leads are not sitting here. If you have new leads that came in from your website or from a social media posting, you want to make sure that they're not sitting here too long. Okay, you want to try to cultivate them. If it turns out that they're not going to be somebody who's interested now and they're going to wait, you know, 6 months, maybe a year to get their credit straightened out, you can just always move them back to prospect. Okay, they're not going anywhere, but it just makes your sorry, the brain went left. I lost the word. Pipeline. It just makes your pipeline look nice and clean. All right, we want to keep people in our pipeline. This is our pipeline here, okay? People that come in, but we want to get them over here. We always, our goal is always to get them to close because that's when we make our money. All right. So you can move them along, like I said, just by doing this as they go along their journey. So when you're in here, and you look at a person, make sure you're kind of looking at this and paying attention, because if you're already under contract and they're still back here in new lead, you know, you're not moving them in the system correctly, and then your numbers look weird when you look at your pipeline. All right, over here on the right, you can actually do everything right from here that you might want to do. You can call them. All right, you click new call, the box will open up, and you can go down here. It does not call them until you tell it to. So I know there are agents out there that say, oh, the system called somebody. It doesn't call without you. It just doesn't. It's not set up to do that. Okay. If you say you want to call somebody, you have to be on your cell phone. So what happens is you come in here, you hit call now, your cell phone will ring. I'm not sure which cell phone I have hooked up here. Oh, there it is. You hear my phone ringing, okay? So then the system is going to ask me to press a button. When I press the button, that's when they're going to call the person, okay? And you saw the box changed. We were in call now. We hit the button, it went to log the call. So now I'm on the phone, or maybe I'm getting the voicemail and I'm going to leave a message. Okay, so I'm just going to put in, you know, voicemail message. All right. And I'm just going to say, yeah, I contacted them. Okay, I left them a message. So now it logs it into my timeline. So everything that we do with this contact goes on this timeline. It starts with today and it goes back further. Okay, so you can see I was pushing him all over the place, right? Changing his journey. But way back here is when I added him. Okay, so I added him to the lender. I put in a personal note. All right, now maybe I want to see this note all the time. I can just pin it to the top. So when I come in here, it's always up here where I can see it. And it just keeps reminding me. So anytime you have notes that you want to keep, where you can see it every time you go in, you just pin them to the top. All right, so now we made that call and it's in my timeline. The same thing, you can send an email from here. And I hope that I have an introduction one in here. Not mine. These are not mine. Let me find some. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so here's my introduction me email. Okay, I'm from Weichert Realtor. If you know anybody in the neighborhood who might be interested in selling, you know, could you let me know? I give them my website to go to. Okay, and there's that. Now at the bottom of this is my signature is turned on. Now you won't see it here, but when this email goes out, it will have all of that information that I put in my signature here. That's why I just put regards Patty, because underneath it's going to say Patricia Sloan and my title and all that other information. And I don't have to keep retyping it. All right. So I can send that right out from here. And my son's going to call me in a minute and say, what are you doing, Mom? Okay. And then and that will show up after it goes out. Sometimes what happens is you'll send emails out, they go into a queue and they have to wait their turn for the server to send them out. Once they go out, you'll be able to see them in your timeline. You'll also be able to view it so you can see exactly what you sent to them. All right, same thing with the text. You can send a text message from here. Okay, and again, this is just, I want to introduce myself and I can send that off from here. And then once it's gone out, now that went out faster than the email. Emails, like I said, sometimes they go into the queue, but here's the message I just sent and here's my email. Now see this envelope here? Means he hasn't read it yet. Okay, it's gone out, but he hasn't looked at it yet. But I can go back in and I can see what I sent him. So everything in your timeline kind of keeps you in control of what's going on. So you can see if you're sending out emails about new listings and stuff and they're not opening them, well, now it's time to get on the phone because obviously they're not looking at the email. And you can call and start with, oh, I sent you some emails, have you had a chance to look at them? You don't tell them you know they didn't look at them. You kind of step around that a little bit. All right. And then again, you can add a note here and say, you know, store still not. Okay, so I can put a note up in here and I can say, well, I want to pin it to the top to remind myself. And now that note is also up here. And this one, when I'm done with it, I just can unpin it. And it goes right back into the timeline where it started. So everything always stays in the time frame of when it started. Okay, newest to oldest. The rest of this is all a little more complicated. So please meet with your office MTS and you know, learn how to do even more. Any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
When you're adding a new contact, what if it's, you know, a couple or, you know, either with the same last name or a couple with different last names? Are you able to enter them together as one contact?
The only way you can do that is you can put the husband and wife's name in the beginning.
Mhm.
And let me just open it. So you could do like this, and they have one email. Now, if they have separate emails, then you're going to add each one separately.
Okay. Now, what if it's a couple that's don't have the same last name? You can't. No way of adding them.
No,
connecting
then
them?
I would say put them in separately. Okay, and then if it's the same email, see, it's not, the system's only going to email to one email.
Yeah.
And I think I forgot to mention that. Once you have an email in your system and you go to put it in again, you're going to get an error that says you already have this email.
Yeah.
So if a husband and wife are sharing an email, you have to decide which one is going to be the primary person, and then you can always add the spouse. Up in here we have profile details, and then in here there is a section where you can add the spouse.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See here, so you can put the spouse and their information in. But if they have separate emails, I would put each one in as a separate contact, because maybe she reads her emails faster than he does, especially if you're putting them on a search alert for listings. You know, when they know what they want to buy, you can set them up on a search alert, and the system actually sends an email from you as soon as a listing hits the MLS.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to determine how you want to do that. But decide, if you're always talking to the wife, I would put the wife in as my contact and put the husband's information under spouse.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Does that?
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
I just didn't want you. So I sent out a email blast to my farm. Oh, sorry. And how do I check? Like, because you were saying you could see if they opened their email. Can you do
Yes.
that on your farm also?
Yes, you can see if they opened their email. Let me show you two things. Okay. One,
Thank
I
you.
just showed you. You can go into their individual contact and you can scroll down and look at the email you sent. Okay. Black envelope means not open. Blue means they opened it. Okay. So if you come in and you look and you say, okay, look, they're opening my emails. Now, the farm is a little different because it's a lot of emails that go out at once. So what you can do is on your dashboard, our favorite little place here, we actually have something in here, and I don't know if it's going to load because I have like 8 offices connected to my name, but you can go to email events, And then what will come up is it will show you every email that was opened. So even if they didn't get in contact with you, they're reading your emails. And it may not, and again, it may not load because like I said, I have like 8 different offices connected to my name. So sometimes this doesn't load in correctly. But anytime, excuse me, anytime you send out an email, feel free the next day to come in and go into email events and see how many people opened and read your email. Now, sometimes if you give them like your website to click through, or you give them the connection for the evaluation for their property, and they click through the email here, the email event will tell you opened and clicked. So you'll know that they actually went to your website. They may not register yet. Again, it goes back to people only need a realtor when they need one. But if they're looking at your emails and they're reading them and they're not writing you and saying, you know, take me off your list, these are all good things. So that's why when we do a farm, we're always sending them stuff, because if they're reading and they're reading, it's branding you to them. Okay, so when they see Weichert, they're thinking of you. All right, and then it's also sharing some information with them, and it's not going to load. I apologize, but it doesn't. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do that. But it for you guys, and I do a lot of one-on-one trainings. You can see that right away. You know, you hit it, and within a couple of seconds, the list will come up. So you can always go and look and see if people are opening your emails. All right, on your
Can you
in
show
your
me
smart
where,
CRM.
how did you get to that email event?
That's on your dashboard.
Okay.
So you're on your dashboard, which is where you're always at. Every time you log into myWeichert, you're going to be on your dashboard. Okay, so every time you open it, you're on your dashboard. That's why we say, look at your dashboard before you go do other stuff, because down in here, you're going to see what people are doing. Okay, so 9 hours ago, this person was on the website. Okay. So you always want to be checking your dashboard for stuff. The other thing about this smart CRM is that you can organize your contacts into these tabs that you see up here. So if you're farming and you have a farm in Chad's Ford and you want to isolate it as that, you can do that. And then when you click on this, it's only going to show you those people. Okay, or if you have a farm of renters from an apartment building, you can put them in, you know, as renters. And when you click the tab, then it's just going to show you them. All right. Right now, I'm in my training contacts, which is all the poor people who keep getting emails and stuff from me as I train. So you can see I've sent out 150 emails to my poor daughter because I'm always training and teaching. We've made 5 phone calls to her over the time. 12 texts have gone out. Okay, so it shows you, you know, now when somebody doesn't have an email or they unsubscribe, see how it says unsubscribe? This all goes gray. Okay, so when you see all gray here, that means the person unsubscribed to everything that you were trying to do. So then you could go in here and you can send them to archive. Oh, I don't know who can do it from here. Yeah, we can. Okay, so say we talked about this before. Somebody says, take me off your list. You're just going to find them, click on what they are, their status, okay, and just go down, hit archive, and it will take them out of your list. And now they're in a bucket over in archive, and they won't get anything from you ever again unless you pull them back out.
So Patty, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So with the mass emails, you said the black means that what they weren't open if you send emails out?
Correct. When you go into their contact sheet, if it's the email is black, they have not opened it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now
Patty, I
we're
have
gonna
a question.
go ahead.
Okay, so I already set up a specific account. right? And then
Right.
he's getting a listing and everything else. And I see that this person actually happened to go and see the houses because it tells you there. But I wonder if we can send in an email, like follow them up if they are interested in it, for us to, you know, make an appointment to see the house, etc. So
Yeah.
can we do that?
Yeah, if you have somebody you're sending alerts to and they're interested in the house, you can email them, you know, and say,
Okay.
I saw you were looking at the house. Do you want me to
Mhm.
make an appointment? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep.
How can we do that?
Okay, hang on, because that was where we were headed next was about doing emails.
Okay, perfect. I wait.
Okay.
Patty, quick question.
Yep, go ahead.
If I added a contact and you know, perhaps I forgot to put that it was my contact, that I owned it, is there a way to go back and change that?
It will always be your contact. When
Okay.
you put it in, you own it. The only time that changes is if you share it with somebody else. So if you're a team leader and you give it to somebody on your team, then it wouldn't be, you wouldn't own it anymore. Does that make sense? So every time you go in and you manually add somebody, you own them. They're yours.
I have a
Thank
quick
you.
question.
Go ahead.
With your text messages, I saw how I think you typed in introduction. Does each office have different text message you're able to send?
There are actually messages in the system that are corporate wide. Some MTSs, they build different ones for the office. And then of course there are ones you can build yourself.
Oh, that's what I
So
wanted
the
to know.
MTS can help you, and that's what I do a lot because I work a lot with the new agents. We build an introductory email or text into the system so that every time that they are adding new people, they can just hit the same message and send it out to the next person.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have all those tabs that you have, like all contacts. Nick, I only have all.
Oh, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. In the beginning, you're only going to have the contacts that you add. Okay. This is years of work that I've done with people.
Okay.
Okay, so the only tab you're going to have right now is this one here that says all contacts. And
Yes.
in there is only going to be people that you have added. So
Okay.
there may only be the one that you added tonight if you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you upload a form, they'll all be under all contacts. The thing that we like to do is we like to break them up so that we can work quickly by just jumping between tabs. Okay, so if I'm sending something out that's only to a specific farm, rather than filter all of my contacts, which you can see there's like a million in here because of all the people I'm connected to. And this is what I was talking about before, the private lead. Can't see it. We don't own it. The company doesn't own it, so nobody in the company can see it but you. All we can see is that a new lead came in and it came into this agent. And that's all that we know. So we can't click on it. We can't change anything. There's really nothing that we can do in here. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
when you're in here and you're under all contacts, you would actually, if you only want to work with specific people, you have to filter them. Okay. So you can filter them by the status. You can filter them by the hashtag. Remember before I spoke for a second about the hashtag. The hashtags are going to come in like when you do an open house. If you do an open house, you use the open house app on your phone or on your tablet and you register the people at your open house. They're going to come in with a hashtag for that open house. So that when you see like under here, see this is a recruit for a certain area. This is one of my managers I'm working with. Okay, so these are the hashtags that we gave this particular person. So you give it a hashtag that works for you. Now I did a hashtag for my son. I did newsletter. So I type it in, you see the little thing is looking for it. Oh, I forgot the S, it's never gonna find it. Okay, beep, 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 okay, newsletter. Okay, so now here comes up all the stuff that says newsletter. This is the one that I attached to my son. So I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna filter, right? I'm gonna apply this filter. And the only thing you're gonna see in a second, hopefully, if I didn't mess this up, is gonna be my son. Come on. You can see the number here. This is an astronomical number, but it's just because I'm connected to so many offices. Down at the bottom, always you'll be able to see somebody else used my thing, but this is mine. Okay, you see, I can see his name. And so this is my one. You won't see other people's stuff. And this is the bad part of my training, is a lot of times you'll see things on my screen, but that's not what you're going to see. All you'll see are people that you gave that specific hashtag to. Okay. All right. So emailing. Okay. I like to plan out what I'm doing. I like to make a schedule. Okay. So I do a lot of my emailing, and this is what I teach my agents. I schedule it ahead of time. So I can come into marketing and I go into all marketing. And from there, I scroll down and I find schedule a mass email. And this is great for the farms and stuff too. So I can come in here and you can see here, I already have some set up for the rest of the year. I mean, for dual career people, this is like gold. Okay, you can take one night, sit down, set up your emails for all the people in your database or certain groups, and just put them in and sit back. And when it goes out, you're looking at your dashboard every day anyway, you'll see people responding. All right, so you can come up in here and go to schedule an email. All right, and now you can do it different ways. You can do it by those filters I just showed you. So if you've set up some filters with your MTS, you can do it by a filter name. You could do it by a hashtag. Okay, so you gave your farm a personal hashtag. You could go in and just pull up that farm, or you can do it by the status. All right, so when you click the radio button, it allows you to see what you have. So these are all the filters that I have. Okay, I'm going to do this to my training. All right, but down here in status, you can do it to all of the 7 statuses. You can send it just to your sphere. You can send it to just your prospect, or you can send it to all of them. You can start with your sphere and end with your close, and you can send everybody a nice holiday card for Thanksgiving. Okay, but I'm just going to right now do my training contacts. All right, the scope should always be you here. You should never see anything else there. Over here, I'm going to pick the date. So I'm not sending this today. I'm going to send this on Thursday. All right, so I'm picking Thursday and I'm hitting okay. Now I have to put in the time. The first time that comes up is midnight. Okay, and tell you, don't send anything at midnight. Don't send anything at 3 o'clock in the morning. When my phone dings, I want to throw it out the window. Okay, and my bank sends stuff always at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking, really, so pick a decent hour that you want to send it. We find with emails, and we just found out some new statistic. People actually seem right now to be reading emails right after lunch. So I'm going to maybe send it at 1 o'clock. All right. So now I can pull up one of my templates if I like. So let's say I'm going to go and do my introduction. Okay. Oh, let me sorry. I always start my stuff with Patty. so it's easy to find. And your MTS should be basically telling you the same thing. Make it easy for yourself to find. All right, so here's Patty's intro. So now I have my email all set up. Okay, are you interested in selling your house? I give them my information, right? I scroll down, I make sure that my signature is on. All right, because I want them to have everything in the email. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna double check. Okay, I did a good time. I have the right date. Looks good. So I'm gonna schedule that to go out. Now you can see it's on here. It snuck itself in the time frame because it's furthest away to closest. I scheduled it for the 15th. So here it is in here, and it'll go out on the 15th. Once it's gone out, you get this little green check mark. And then you could always go in to the people and see if they're opening it. All right, so you can, as you can see from the list, you can schedule as far out as you'd like. I am going to show you one other thing. We're going to go in and we'll schedule another one. This time, no, I can't do that. The last time I did something to my prospects, it ended up going out to lead network people that aren't really mine. So I try not to make that mistake anymore. I get myself in a lot of trouble during my trainings. All right, so I'm going to send it again to the same people, but this one I'm going to send out next week. Okay, so I'm pick my day. I'm going to pick my time of day. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to be pretty consistent. So I'm always probably going to do it at 1 o'clock. But this time I want to send them a newsletter that's for informational purposes. Okay. And you can see here, Weichert designs lots and lots of newsletters. All right. And some of them, they'll have the dates on them. So this is like the newest one for September. So I'm going to send that out to them. And I'm showing you this for this reason. The newsletter is great, and I am advocate all the time. If you're going to start a campaign, start it with newsletter going out to people, okay? But this is what I want to show you. See here, it has all your information in here already. So that little button that we love, we want to make sure it's off. If we turn this on, they're going to get all this, and then my signature is going to come in again underneath. So we don't want that. We have everything is already built in here. Okay, it's going to give them my website. It's going to give them my email. All my information is here. So I don't want to duplicate it. So I want to make sure that this button is off. That's the only time this button should be off. When you see this, or you see a little squiggly guy like this, and it says agent signature. Okay, because that just means it's already built into what you're sending, so you don't need to add it to it. Okay, and then you can just go ahead and schedule. All right, so that's how you do scheduling an email, which is great for everything, really. You can see here, I already did a happy holiday one for December. I'm sending one out for Halloween. There's one here for Thanksgiving. So you can sit down and plan, you know, months in advance what you want to send to people. And, you know, you pick and choose your emails depending on, you know, what you're doing, who you're sending it to. But you can schedule it out in one evening. And then even if you never do anything but look at your dashboard again, you're still going to be out there branding yourself and letting people know that you exist. All right. Now, to send an individual email, and again, I'm going to stick with my little short list here. There's two ways you can do this, okay? You can open up them and send it out to one, but say there's 3 people, I want to send them the same email. I can go in here and just click these boxes, okay? And I can say I want to mass email them. So I want to send everybody I clicked an email. And I'm just going to go in here And again, here's my templates, or I can write a brand new one. Now I can do, I can put in from here, I can put in those little squigglies we were just looking at, and I can put in the person's first name. So now each person in my group here, it's going to address them. So the first one's going to say, hi, Tina. The next one's going to say, hi, John. Okay. And now I'm going to just say, just checking in to see how you're doing.
I'm sorry, buddy, where did you went to have that first last name?
The people were in my contacts. Hang on.
No, I don't ask for that.
Oh,
You see
this
that you
about the
put-
first name?
Yes.
Okay, this little starburst here
Ah, I see.
creates a merge tag. I'm sorry, I forgot to identify them as merge tags. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
So it creates a merge tag. So you can put in the person's first name. You could put their full name in if you want. Okay. In the body of your email, if you decide you want to put your link to your website, you can do that from here. You can put a link in for your email. Okay, all of these different things just get merged in. So anything with a squiggly bracket is called a merge tag. Okay. So we're just on hope
Okay, thank
all
you.
is well. And okay, so now I've kind of just written a note saying, you know, how's it going? How are you doing? How, you know, you can say, haven't talked to you for a while. I hope everything is all right. And then I make sure my signature is on because I don't see anything here that's going to put it in. And I'm just going to send that out. Oh, I missed something. Oh, I'm sorry. When you write your own, you have to put the subject in. So just checking in. When you pick a template, the subject is already built into the template. Okay, so now I just emailed the 3 of them at the same time, just a note to catch up. So you can do a few people at once. You can go up here, see how the rows change. You always want to make sure you're at the maximum amount of people that you can do something with at the same time. And then you can go over here. If you click here, everybody will get an email. Okay, so everybody on my list is included in here. So now when I go to mass email, it will email all of those people, where before I just picked the 3. Okay, so, and again, your templates are here. So if you wanted to do your intro from here, you could add it right on the fly from here. And now you're going to send it out to all those people. And off it goes. All right, so there's a lot of ways that you can do a lot in a small amount of time. And that, you know, that's the big thing. I understand when you're a dual career, you don't have a lot of time. So there's a lot of the things you could do. Now, tomorrow, if you're working along with me, I need you to make sure that you have a photo of your home on your computer so that we'll be able to access it. Tomorrow, we're going to go over the listing presentation and how you customize it and get it ready to go out. So we do what we call the master. And then after the master is created, once you go in to create the next one, all of the pages are kind of locked in, but the custom pages bring in now the new information. So the new listing address and the new photos. So we're going to set up your master. The listing presentation has 26 pages to it. Hang on, I'm just going to stop sharing. I'm kind of done. Okay, so the listing presentation has 26 pages, of which I believe 7 of them are customized to a specific property. So we're going to get the master ready, and that way you'll always be prepared. So if somebody calls and says, excuse me, you know, Ingrid, I want you to come over Saturday and talk to me. You can go take a picture of the house and customize your listing presentation right away. Okay, so
You pee on
we're
a
gonna do
potty?
that tomorrow. Yes, go ahead. Oh, guess not. Okay. All right. The other thing we'll go over tomorrow in a little more detail will be the dashboard and focusing on the emails, evaluations, and the property views. And also tomorrow, I'll show you a little bit of what you can do out on your Facebook. Okay, but that's definitely something that, you know, you have to create your business Facebook page if you haven't done that. So I'll show you, you know, a little bit about that. And then, like I said, I'll show you how to do a couple of posts. The idea is to brand yourselves. Okay, so we're always looking to help you get your name out there, to drive people to your website, and, you know, to bring you the business. All right. So that's basically it for tonight. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you. very
Patty,
much.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Felice. I did an open house this weekend and I was able to use the myWeichert open house app.
Okay.
But most of the guests went into the into my KV core.
Good.
Now, I'm not sure if so when they came in, when most of the guests came in to put their information in, so it asks you those who are represented by agents. So
Okay.
the KV core doesn't automatically call them,
No,
right?
no, the KV core never calls anybody without you. Okay, but
Okay.
it does, when you do an open house, it does start to email and text them. So after they hit the submit button at your open house, the campaign for open houses kicks in, and the campaign is basically just drip things that happen over a period of time. So it's texts, it's emails, it's reminders to you to follow up with them. Okay. So when you did your open house Sunday, 4 hours after they hit the submit button, they got a text from you that said, "Thank you for coming to my open house."
Okay.
Okay, now on Monday, if you did your open house on Sunday, on Monday, they got an email from you thanking them for coming. Okay, so now the system is going to keep reaching out to them until you make contact with them and decide whether they are going to be prospects or they're going into being an active person, and you're going to actually, you know, start working with them to find another house. The other thing that also happened was they were put on a search alert based on the open house. So it would be the area, the price range, and the bedroom and baths. Now anything that comes up new in the MLS from that point forward, they're going to get an email from you that says, "Look at this brand new listing." Okay. So that's another thing that has happened. So what I'm going to say to you is, today is Tuesday. Hopefully you've tried to call them and made contact with them. If you haven't, you should. The system's going to remind you. It's going to put tasks out there that say, you know, you should call. Once you've contacted them, you're going to go into their sheet and move them on the journey, whether they're going forward or they're going backwards, but you're going to, you know, make sure that they're moving along. That also will stop the campaign. That campaign of emails and stuff will go on until you move them. So if you've called them, there is an email in the cycle that says, "I haven't talked to you in a while." So you're going to kind of look a little, you know, not good. Okay. So that is definitely something that you want to make sure as you talk to them, you're opening up their contact sheet and you're updating it.
Okay, but does the KV core separate those that came in with agents?
No, it does not, and it doesn't care. If
Okay.
they registered, they're gonna get those emails from you. Just because they're working with somebody else. You know, when I bought my first house, I didn't know I could fire the realtor I had. I absolutely hated him. Absolutely hated him, but I thought I was stuck with him. People are not stuck with realtors. Just because I'm working with somebody right now, that doesn't mean this is somebody I want to keep working with. Okay.
Okay.
So you're sending out some stuff and you make a phone call. Now, if you call and they say, oh no, we love Anna, we're not changing, then you're going to just archive them.
Okay.
Okay. Because you don't want to overstep boundaries. Okay. Real estate can be a cutthroat business. We don't want to be those people. Okay. So we're going to step back and let Anna take care of them. But if they never say that to you again, then you're just going to keep reaching out. You know,
Okay.
because obviously if she was taking care of them, they wouldn't be talking to you.
All right.
Okay.
All righty.
That's okay. All right. Definitely check in with your MTS at the office and she'll be able to help you keep those people isolated so that you can keep an eye on what's going on with them. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, I am done. Thank you so much for coming. I really
you.
do
And
appreciate
Thank you,
it.
appreciate you.
Thanks and good
All
night.
right, thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank
All
you.
right, now
Good
hopefully
night.
I'll see all of you tomorrow night. Yep, tomorrow night at 6, same link that you used tonight.
Okay,
All
thank you.
right,
Good
thank
night.
you. Good night.
Good night.